Welcome back to Dead by Dawn Season 3. We have Sirenia versus Astraea. And we do have Astraea on the killer verse with Unknown. We have seen a couple of good Unknown games this season. I'm really excited to see Egwa on the killer. I am not alone on the casting today. I am here with Will. Will, I think we've been in this position before. What do you
Well,
expect out of this game?
well, I'm expecting some juicy hits we saw with in earlier in the league with Springtrap. We are not as scared of sniping people and getting those early hits on unknown. So I'm just excited to see some. That was a nice ricochet, to be fair. Quick little UVX tag onto Max here from Egwa. Obviously, Egwa is a bit of the unusual killer pick here for Team Astraea as they did not quite meet the survivor requirement to have their main NA West killer able to play. However, we're seeing something really good here. And could this be a quick two-tap? Indeed it is. Feels, take it away, man.
That was a really nice down. As you said, Egg not usually our killer play today, but goddamn, he's turning up and making sure that people know that he is not to be messed with. We do see a very early down and a basement hook as well, which I'm interested to see. I'm actually not too sure on unknown what's it called add-ons, so I want to see. I'm gonna kind of guess throughout the game what it kind of does. Again, I'm not a connoisseur of the unknown. We do see a fantastic first down. We are going to take a snipe onto 11 here, but we do catch someone out. I think we're just going to take the kick onto this with our eruption. Again, eruption's been pretty standard for these sets. I feel like we see this exact build on majority of the unknown players that we come across.
Really? You think so? I was just about to take note that we are actually seeing Bamboozle, which is something I wouldn't often associate with Unknown, and I feel is a bit of a, not necessarily a throw pick, obviously, still a very good chase perk. However, I'm not sure that Unknown is the killer for it. Also, have a look at this lovely little hallucination he's got on the basement stairs here. He's just playing distance, making sure that they can't get free progress, and just playing around the basement. I think we're going to be seeing Egwa trying his hardest to not let them get the pull for free. And I think Sirenia's side are going to be trying to rotate from bot in order to not let their first hook go to second.
And we see a bit of a, what would you call it, a UVX hit coming onto Ronaldo here, which is really nice. We see Max, who has gone into second stage here. This is not a bad place for Ego to start out on. If we can get at least a 2K for not being the main killer player for Australia, I honestly, Ego is showing. We do see Dub camping the pallet here, just getting hit the stun, but we do see the flashlight coming in just to give that extra time but I don't feel like Max is getting saved anytime soon unless Egwa does not leave this sorry, unless Egwa does leave this basement, which we are kind of overextending now to find the Claude Ed. We're going for a bit of an ambitious swing because again, this is a ping matchup. So I'm interested to see that is Max coming out of the basement. Are we going to manage to get the body block coming through?
Well, this is just textbook, really. Obviously, fell very eloquently, body blocking Egwa into the basement there, and Egwa given no choice but to play for the hit there. However, does miss the UVX, and Fell does get off a little bit scot-free. We do see FTP from Dub coming on to Max here. However, Max is still weakened, so we could be seeing a UVX injure and a quick down on Max. However, if he gets rid of this, this is changing the tide very quickly for Egwa here, and I'm not sure that he can commit to the tunnel out if he doesn't get this quick injury. However, Caster's curse or Caster's luck, Egwa manages to land it, and we're seeing Chase being taken to the worst bus variation in the entire game.
They are going kind of hand in hand in this. The Serenia bringing up the pressure, really giving that fear. And we have got Max who've got their linger off, and Dub is just going to try and take the down for them. But again, it is neck and neck of what's going to happen. Dub gets a fantastic stun here, giving the distance to Max, but Max is kind of cornered back into six. Igwa is having none of it and keeping it going, but we are seeing Dub, and we are just going to take down on Dub. And maybe grabbing him for our pain res, because we did not get pain res on Max originally. So I think we are just going to try and slow down that progress, because I think we need the time to manage to get everything back to the swing of the killer.
Definitely, as you said there, the amazing play from Egwa into dragging Max into basement early kind of backfired in terms of giving Sirenia all that time on the gens to just split, and we are at 2 gens for 3 hooks, albeit 2 freshes. However, that Death Hook Survivor is going to have to really play very carefully here and be working. And a Blast Mine. God, I actually hate casting with this perk in use because my eyes are never used to it and it always comes as a bit of a surprise. However, we do see 4 pop, and this is just really proving to us that Sirenia are still on with their French efficiency in terms of the gens.
Yeah, honestly, I've heard of German efficiency. I've never heard of the French efficiency, but I guess Serena is bringing it up. We do see a fantastic gameplay. I'm, we are in a little bit of a spread gen set, so it's not the easiest. It doesn't seem like we can really defend this. So it looks like we might need to just go for those stages. We don't see Noah in our back pocket this time, so again, it is really just gathering the stages. We do see 2 linger effects coming off. We do find Fel, who is in our fresh hook, which would be very, very nice to have. Fantastic infection coming in from Echo here. We are just going to chase around this lovely edge filler palette, trying to get a bit of a jiggy away, but unfortunately just not going. And we are going to get the down onto Fel, who is going to be another fresh hook, and we do see Eruption going off on Shaq here.
That eruption's really going to set things back. I'm not quite sure about the survivors and what they're splitting here, but if that eruption did obviously knock off some of that progress on Shaq, then Shaq is a very hard gem for the survivors to be working. I feel like with Egwa, he's just going to be playing more aggressive as he's kind of, as you said before, lost his gens to play for. Obviously, they're still up, but in very unforgiving places for a killer, and he's just going to be going around, applying eruption and trying to be getting pain reses on whichever hooks he can be.
Yeah, they are doing a great job. Like I said, they can go hand in hand. It's not a bad place for the Unknown to be in. We do know Unknown is not really a 4K killer. Ego's not sitting in a bad position, but he really needs to rack up those stages to give his team the best bet of winning here. Because again, this is their pick, and I said going into Sirenia Plague set next. We've all seen how Sirenia plays Plague, so I'd be a little bit worried if we don't take this set.
Definitely. As you were saying earlier with the add-ons, and the timer on the bottom right does make me believe it is the add-on where after you TP, it gives you an increased break speed. A lovely tag through Shack window. Moon caught a bit off guard and didn't have the distance to pre-run it. But, however, this is who we'd want to be chasing if we are Egwa here. We do see Max coming in for a hit tank. Max our Death Hook survivor, but at this kind of stage in the game, any... Oh my god!
Oh, fantastic
Hello!
mind game there. Holy. Max just not getting there quite in time. Moon getting a little bit mind gamed onto free here. I'd be a little scared to play this because I'd be worried there'd be a pallet save coming in, but Max does not quite make it. That was a little bit of a ballsy move coming in from Echo here, but it did pay off, and that's the final gem popping. All fresh is hooked, which is what you want to be seeing. Doing really good. They did change up their game plan very, very quickly to understand what they need. And we do see them kind of shooting it over at the door, but I think they want to camp this out because it's fresh. But again, like, it's not a bad result coming in, especially for not being their main killer player. I would generally be very happy with this.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm no killer player myself. I've played a few killer games here and there, but I feel like I would do no better than a 0 stage result here. We are seeing Egwa just camping the hook and just trying to take pot shots of UVX. Survivors here really just trying to get that last survivor out. But I think we're going to be seeing Egwa just playing for the Claudette here. In fact, no, we're not. Oh, Max double backs at the perfect time, and I think we could actually see 4 survivors out due to that. I don't know if you saw that, but Max came from 3. I thought he was going to be opening the gate, but then he came back as Egwa teleported, meaning that all 4 survivors are out the gate at 12. What do you think about this result? A 5 stage with 4 freshes. Feels, what do you think?
Okay, welcome back to Dead by Dawn Season 3, where we have Sirenia on the killer. We saw a pretty good result coming out from Egwa. We do need 6 stages to take the set. But yeah, we have Dub Trouble on the killer as our usual Sirenia killer. We are seeing a bit of Crow fly up on 9 and Shovel Knight, and we do see some undying value here. Again, I'm not alone on the casting. I am here with Will. Well, do you think the win con's achievable?
I think it is an achievable win con. Obviously, as previously stated, we did say that unknown is a bit of a stages killer, so I feel like 6 stages is definitely not a bad ask. And also, if you're getting shots like that early on in the game, then it's definitely a good sign for what's to come. Plaz being zoned, and I think we're going to see another quite early down. However, we saw Sirenia were very, oh,
Oh,
a ping hit almost,
that's
but
a west to well, EU to west there, I think, if I remember correctly.
yeah, I do believe so. I think yeah, Plaz did say she is NA West, as the ping constriction or the ping rules for the league meant that she couldn't play. So we did see Egwa on killer. However, also we're not seeing eruption.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised about it. I'm surprised we're seeing Ruin Undying more than Eruption. I feel like Eruption was more the play here, but um, he might be doing a lot more harassing, and I think Dove Trouble might know his ping hits a little too well, a little suspiciously well here. But yeah, we are seeing it on Egwa, but no infection, so we are just gonna leave this. We still have Plas on hook here, and I think they just want the pressure behind them as much as possible, just to kind of help that out.
Yeah, I do believe so. Egwa touching the decoy there. Unfortunately, Dub missing the snipe, but like that was very close. That was very close. So he's got me a little bit worried here. I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm not sure what I'm looking at, what I'm expecting. Plaz very high hook progress. However, I feel like we haven't seen the fourth survivor even. Actually, no, now we have. I thought that was three popping. So we are going to be seeing Plaz going into second, but we're also at 3 gens left. So this is definitely not a bad place for our survivors to be, but for this kind of gem pressure in the last game, we had wait no. For this kind of stage in the last game, sorry, we had a little more gem pressure and Ghostly trying to stealth it, hidden in plain sight almost here, as we get another chase onto the filler at one. Feels take it away.
Yeah, I honestly, in this game, I don't think I've seen more Undying value in one game than this game, honestly. Dub really came in cooking with that build. We do manage to leave our serve Ghostly onto one here, kind of taking snipe on that gem. We did see a little bit of um, progress on it, and we are getting Plas off hook here, trying to get them safely as way as possible. But Dub Trouble has none of that and wants to cut her off before she gets into anything further. Switching over to Grace here, who is going to be taking a tag because there is no pallet on that side. But I'm wondering if we have lost Plas or we are on her trail. Because a death at this point might not be what you want to be seeing. Again, we are going to just kick it and zone it back into deep free, which is not what you want to see, but Plus is having none of that. I'm going to go to edge filler here. And this is going to be a difficult filler for her to play, but she plays it to absolute perfection. Um, we are going to see infection coming in, plus really wasting time. They need that gem pressure behind them for it. We do have another edge filler. Is Dub just going to go and swing for it? He is just going to go for a shot, but does not quite get it. I feel like there's so much going on. He gets the grab.
What am I
Oh my.
watching? What
Well,
is
help.
happening?
Help. What's going on?
A brilliant play by Survivor there, actually pulling Plaz before the death. I thought Dub would have been a little more vigilant to try and get Plaz out on her first hook. However, we're seeing the fruits of the Survivor's labor with that insane pull, and Plaz just making it really hard and delaying that tunnel out on for Dub here. Well, I think we're going to be seeing a bit of just dying edge map 3 here, which is obviously not bad for our Survivors here, as she has done an amazing job with the setup she had, really, you know, squeezing all the time, and a head on
Oh my
from herself!
god.
A head on from the tunnel out. That is not something you see very often, feels.
Guys, say Plus is showing up today, showing everything that she knows really, really well. But I think it is coming to our demise here. I would not be surprised if the serves had a little more progress behind them right now. But yeah, for Plus's death, that was the chase of a lifetime. I don't know if you agree with that, Will, but I think Plus played that extremely well, and I feel like that was a fantastic chase to end out her death hook.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially after the fairly quick down on Unknown. It's either a killer where you have a really quick chase or a chase like Plaz did. And Plaz did very well there, denying the tunnel out. Obviously, a death at 2 gens, delaying the inevitable start to the 3v1 is kind of what you want to be doing, which is something we did not see from Egwa on the earlier game, and that is an nasty, nasty UVX here from Dub there, and kind of zoning the ace here, and I think we're going to be seeing another fairly quick down.
I feel like we were using some legal wall hacking there with our Undying, just seeing what the survivor was prompting. I feel like the servers are having a bit of a hard time with this. Or read that Jin pops just in time for that pain res. And we are seeing kind of some regression over here, so I'm guessing pain res just switched over to this gen as it popped. But we are seeing one serve kind of on 6 here, and we kind of have another idea of where the other serve is. This is not what you want during this game. You don't want all information given out. So we do get infection off, but not quite the hit. So Egwin playing this extremely well.
Yeah, I think Dub leaving back to hook here. We did see Grace rotate towards topside, so maybe she's going towards 3. I'm not quite sure about the gen spread we have. Yep. Thank you, Dub. It's like I'm reading his mind, showing me the last gen on mid 3 there. I do think we're going to be seeing Egwa kind of staying around the hook, trying to play for the pull, and Grace working gens cross map.
Yeah, they are playing really, really well here, and I think they are just going to be playing for best result because it is hard to top. And honestly, it's quite an intense game. They've been both been playing really, really well here. But again, it is just us going back and forth, just checking out what we have. We have got a TP here, which is not the greatest for Egwa.
Doesn't
Uh,
matter, he's just running in, making his distance, kind of taking chase towards the Gen at 3, which I'm fairly certain has a little bit of progress. I think Dub is very aware of that for all the time that Ghosty was on hook. The survivors won't have been doing nothing, and I believe this is going to be a hit because of ping.
oh,
Yeah, absolutely
oh,
disgusting to look at. That's the pub match ping that you know and love to see, and the thing that gets behavior begged to fix their servers. But oh, that was a very nice UVX actually, and we are seeing another chase onto Ghosty here, who is running into a bit of a dead zone as we saw Plas doing absolutely amazingly well in avoiding and getting out of earlier in the match.
yeah, like I said, they are. This area is kind of a death zone. It is really, really scary to be running this area, especially since we're doing a gen here injured. I'd be a little worried with that, and I feel like this might be a shorter chase for Egwa because I don't think there's anything in this area, and we are just gonna wrap as much as possible. But we do get a tank coming in from Grace here, who is just gonna deny the inevitable. But we do zone Egwa back into free, which is not what you want to be seeing.
Oh yeah, no, this is a very unfortunate position for our survivor to be. A pretty nice teleport there from Dub, if I do say so myself, in zoning the survivors back to where the gens have pressure. And can I just say, we've seen no hex cleanses this match, so we've really been seeing a lot of undying value, especially on the ace and the gen on 3. Obviously, Dub very aware what gens are going to be popping, and he's really playing for the long run in order to get the most stages. And that also means that we do have Ruin up. So when survivors are chasing around gens, they're going to be regressing, and which is really not something you want as survivor because it takes away all your pressure that you've worked so hard, or the pressure that you got from leaving one of your teammates on hook. Ooh.
Ooh, what a fantastic shot coming in from Dub Trouble here, who is just going to leave Ghostly on the ground and go search for Grace, who is injured and got a UVX on her head. I'd be a little bit scared right now, but I feel like he's just having some troubles getting it.
Yeah, I do. Oh, we do actually see some scratch marks here, so all being well. Oh! Okay, okay, Dub, I was not familiar with your game. Dub forcing the long-range trade onto Grace there, and he's just going to be following the scratch marks onto Egwa. Egwa weakened as well, due to the fact that Grace went down to the UVX. That's something we haven't seen, I believe, in an unknown set during
Yeah,
Season 2. Season
yeah,
2?
yeah,
Season 3,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Dub Trouble really showing us a knowledge of the game, doing a great job. Egwa doing a great job just holding this last chase. For how this game went, I think this is a really good game coming in from Team Australia here. Not quite enough to take the win, but really, really good game. Chases were just fantastic, and I feel that tunnel just came in a little too early. But Ego taking its final chase, showing showing us uh, who is the best chase and showing us what he can do.
I mean, well, he's definitely going to need to try and take that title from Plas, because as you said earlier, and as we commented on earlier even, that Plas had an absolutely phenomenal chase, really delaying that tunnel out, especially in a dead zone. And we do see Egwa able to pick up Ghostly here, and I thought this was a complete ego chase, but we are seeing a bit of a pullback from the survivors here. Do you think anything's going to come from it, or do you think it's kind of at the point in time where not many gens have enough pressure to warrant survivors really giving it that extra push?
I feel like they're in a little bit of a predicament. There's not a lot of pressure on the map. We're kind of just doing what we need and basically just playing out the best we can. We do see Ghostly clean breaking here to get that heal off just to save a little more time, but he is the found survivor, which is not what you want to be seeing in this, especially with the timer of clean break. Egwa does get pulled in the meantime. This is becoming a bit of a recovery. We could not last out clean break, which is a little unfortunate. And we do see Amori coming through.
We do love to see this. Oh, we do actually get a very nice look at Dub's horrific unknown skip. So that's definitely a plus for the style points from Dub here. However, that does kind of confirm the 2v1 and survivors have yet to be reset, and Dub is able to find Grace trying to re-stealth on the edge 7 here. I feel like this is just going to be a back and forth between the two survivors where they're not getting much gem pressure, and even if they do, that Ruin Undying combo, as we saw earlier, really taking away their gem pressure is going to still be a problem, especially in the 2v1.
Yeah, I need to check with our refs. Do we give minus points for terrible fits? I don't know. I don't know. We need to check. But Ghostly, not Ghostly, Amazing Grace, just not being able to play the Wendy's is a very difficult on ping especially. And we are just gonna take a hook. I think Dub realizes there's like no pressure on the map, so he can just be taking these hooks and doesn't need to slug as much. Or maybe he just really wants his Moris. I don't know. I don't know. But we are gonna go and look for Egwa now, who is fully healed.
I actually hadn't noticed that, so thank you for paying attention. We, however, are not doing the best in terms of stealthing here. He is not put on his camouflage ghillie suit and is in fact on the on the tile here at 11. That is an excellent fast fault there. Caught Dub completely off by surprise, and Egwa gets to last a little bit longer, juking out the UVX as well and making the window completely unharmed.
I feel like someone's been doing their unknown 1v1s. I don't know. I have a little bit of a feeling. Fantastic Jiggy coming out from Egwa here, who is just going to escape, but does get caught off by Clone. I don't think he realized Clone was there. I think we are just going to trade with Grace, but it just seems like we're going in a bit of an infinite loop here. Just giving each other chase, just seeing how long we can last, but it just seems like we are in a constant state of a loop. So, let's see if Greece can have an absolute fabulous chase. Like I said, they are just absolutely sending it. Realizes that Dove is going to UVX through the wall and decides to go wide on it and actually just drop Shack Pallet, which is fantastic. Honestly, I'm very surprised Shack Pallet's still up this late in the game.
Definitely, it's a very nice spot for looping against Unknown, especially if you have that distance. However, if he's on you from the get-go, then it becomes very hard to play, especially with the 50-50 through the window if you play it right with the bounce. I'm fairly sure I've seen that happen quite a few times in the games that we've seen, so obviously Survivor's very wary about it, but also a very good resource nonetheless.
Oh,
Oh, we are seeing
trade.
another trade again. Oh, come on, Astraea. Come on, man. I gotta get my tea in the break. Come on, man. But no, this has been an absolutely wonderful game. Action-packed, may I say. I think we've seen more chases in this game than we have seen in the entirety of Season 3.
I didn't realize we were doing a hit tank tournament, honestly. But yeah, that is the final chase because again, there is like no resources on this map anymore. It is absolutely dire. We cannot get the Morion Grace. I feel like Dub's a little sad on that. But that will be first set going to.